What's up, everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of the episode 18 of Ask the King, the Thanksgiving special. Why is it a Thanksgiving special? Because I'm uploading it on Halloween. What? What? I'm uploading it on Thanksgiving. That was the biggest botched line I think I've ever said. I'm uploading it on Halloween. Okay, let's get to the questions so that we don't run out of time. First question. Hi, Phil. I've begun watching your videos almost exclusively on my iPad. Since there are no ads when you use the YouTube app for iPad, I would like to know if using the iPad instead of a PC means you don't get any money for that view. The way I understand it, you get paid per view, period. But I would just like to be sure, because I will start watching more on PC again if you don't get paid for my iPad views. Many regards from Denmark, and that's from Pastry SC. Well, Pastry SC, no, that's not how it works. I do get paid based off of views, but based off of what they call supported ad views, okay? Now what that means is if someone's watching my video and an ad appears on the side or on the video, then I get paid for it. If you don't see an ad, okay, I don't get paid. Now, the exception to this rule is if you're using ad blocker software. If you're using ad blocker software, YouTube can't discern whether or not you're doing that. So as long as the video had an ad on it, regardless of if you see the ad, if you're using ad blocker, I get credit for that view. Now, there are a couple cases where I don't get paid. Number one would be if you're an international viewer. There are a lot of countries outside of the United States, outside of, I guess, Europe and other places, where ads are just not supported. So if you've watched my videos from the beginning on your PC and you've never seen an ad on any of my videos, no, technically I'm not getting paid for your viewership, but that's not your fault. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just not supported in your country. I've actually got messages from a couple countries, people watching and saying, Phil, there's never been ads on your videos. That's why. The other exception where I don't get paid is anything on a mobile version of YouTube. So any mobile app of YouTube, I don't get paid. So if you're using the mobile app on your BlackBerry, if you're using the mobile app on your iPhone, your iPod Touch, your iPad, anything that has Android, you know, most of these things don't use the full version of YouTube. They use mobile versions, and YouTube has not found a way to properly enable ads on mobile versions. Probably, I would think, because when you have an ad, the whole idea of an ad on the internet is, oh, there it is, I like it, and you click on it and you can go straight to the website. Well, the mobile apps aren't actual browsers. They're just, it's an application running video, so you couldn't click on it per se and open the website, and I think maybe that's why. I'm not sure, I'm just speculating, but no, if you're watching my videos on iPad, iPod Touch, any kind of a mobile device, Android, BlackBerry, I don't get paid for those. Is it that big of a deal? Well, let me give you some perspective, because I can give you an idea of how many people actually watch my stuff exclusively on a mobile device. 10%. So every month, let's say if for this month I get 10 million views total on my channel, I'm only going to get paid for 9 million, because 1/10 of that roughly ends up being mobile views where ads weren't supported, and those are basically freebies. Is it that big of a deal to me? No, I'm not going to sit here and whine and complain, how dare you watch my stuff on mobile stuff. I understand there are a lot of people who don't have access full-time to a computer. Maybe you don't own your own computer, but you have, you know, an iPhone or whatever. Maybe there's a family PC, you know what I mean? But your family doesn't want you sitting there watching my videos all day, so you watch me on an iPad or something else. Then, you know, I can understand. And I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to complain about it. But if you are looking to support me, like this guy specifically asking me here, you know, I want to support you, Phil, but I'm watching your videos on iPad and I don't see any ads. The answer is no. I don't get paid for anything where you don't see an ad unless you're using ad blocker. So, unfortunately, yeah, that's the way the program works right now. Will it change in the future? I don't know, but right now, that's it. Next question. Now this one is actually the second question from this guy. He actually asked a couple good questions this time. He says, on CNN, William Bennett says that the reason that 18 to 34-year-old men are the highest in unemployment in the U.S. is because they play too many video games, leading to their termination. Seeing as you fit into that age bracket and you got laid off about a year ago, what do you have to say about this? And that's from McIntyre0591. Well, McIntyre0591, here's what I have to say. William Bennett is a fucking idiot asshole. He has no reason to ever have any kind of a voice on TV because it's obvious he's a fucking complete moron, and people shouldn't listen to a word that he has to say if he's going to say ridiculously stupid statements like that. I got laid off from my job because I got put into a brand new department that was newly formed. There was a VP there who didn't know half the people who were working under him, didn't utilize me properly. I had all this special training for continuous improvement, and he actually took me off of continuous improvement projects and tried to make me into a job that I'd never done before, and I was very vocal about this with my manager, and when it came time for a round of layoffs, he says, well, I don't know who this guy is, doesn't seem like he fits, and he laid me off. So, it has nothing to fucking do with me playing video games. He didn't know that I was on YouTube playing video games. You know what I mean? This is preposterous. This guy's a fucking asshole. People should fucking spam the fuck out of this idiot with... I hope he has a Twitter account. Destroy his fucking Twitter account. You are an idiot. How dare you even get paid to ever be on TV, you fucking retard. Okay, anyway, next question. Let's see. Oh, that was the first of his 2 questions, I believe. I think his next question is coming up right now, which is why I said he asked a couple good questions. His second question, which I wanted to address, was, here it is, Phil, 2011 has seen and will see the release of Modern Warfare 3, Battlefield 3, Uncharted 3, Ultimate Marvel 3, Gears of War 3, and many other sequels. In addition to this, a slew of HD re-releases of old games were also released. Why do you think we're seeing so few new IPs being released in all these sequels? That's also from McIntyre0591. Great question, and the answer is pretty damn simple. When you're in an economy like we are right now, where no one has a lot of money, let's be honest, no one has a lot of money. Everyone, even the people who are making ends meet, they're stretching, they're pulling to make ends meet. Except for, of course, that upper 5% of the country who's insanely wealthy and they don't want to share the wealth with anyone else, and that's the problem with the country. And that's why we have protests outside of Wall Street. But besides that, people don't have a lot of money to spend. And so if you're going to buy 2 to 3 games this hardcore gaming season, are you going to take a chance on a brand new IP that may or may not have established itself, you're not sure what you're getting into, or are you going to buy a game like Gears of War 3 where you know, okay, I played Gears of War 1, I played Gears of War 2, I like both of those games, I know this is going to be much of the same, but I enjoyed those previous ones, I know I'll enjoy that one, I'm just going to buy that one because it's a sure bet. And it's the same thing with games like Modern Warfare 3, Uncharted 3, these are all sequels where you already know what to expect, and for the most part, not bad games. Games that have gotten some critical acclaim, so you know what you're getting into. It's probably going to be pretty decent. The problem with this is that it stifles innovation. When you're really so afraid that you're going to spend $1 and you're not going to get anything back, you may be afraid to try out that new style of game. One perfect example of a game this year that I think was completely overlooked and I was really disappointed is Shadows of the Dam. Shadows of the Dam is a brand new IP. It had a quirky sense of humor, really good voice acting, interesting plot, the gameplay was really good, everything about it, the graphical design, the controls, everything about it was a great game. But no one bought it. And no one bought it, I think, because people were so afraid to jump into a new IP. They wanted to save their money, their hard-earned and very scarce free money that they could spend on games. They wanted to save it for that surefire bet later on in the year. And it sucks because even though even though this year I feel was a really good year for gaming, between games like Batman Arkham City, Portal 2, Skyrim, Uncharted 3, all these AAA titles that were all sequels, but they ended up being really good games, it's a shame that we really didn't get to see a lot of new IPs strive and grow and be released and become hits. And it's a shame because, again, like I said, a game like Shadows of the Dam, one of my favorite games of the year, by far, one of my favorite games of the year, and I think it was overlooked by a lot of people, which is very unfortunate. So that's really what's going on right now. Now, does this mean that things will be, in the future where we're not going to see much innovation? I don't know, and I'm kind of worried because, let's be honest, how many fucking Mario games can Nintendo release? Like, when was the last time Nintendo released a great new IP? Besides Mario, Zelda, all the same shit. And even when they release a new system like the Nintendo 3DS, why are 75% of the games that came out for it re-releases of games that came out in the 90s. It just blows my mind that no one can have an original thought that's going to turn into something good at this point. And it's not just the gaming industry either. It's the movie industry. How many fucking sequels, reboots? Why do we have a reboot of Spider-Man? We just fucking had Spider-Man. He's not even a decade old yet. We've got a reboot of it? Like, give me a fucking break. And this is just a pattern that's repeating itself. We have, the redone Halloween, the redone Friday the 13th, the redone Nightmare on Elm Street. No. I don't need to see the same plot lines reimagined by someone else. I want to see some fucking originality that deserves my dollar. And that's really the problem right now with all of the entertainment industry. Everyone has no more originality and they're just going for the surefire bet of, we know that people like this formula, so just keep redoing the same thing over and over and over. And unfortunately, it turns into years like this where everything's a sequel and there's really no innovation. So it's a worrying thing. It's a thing that could actually become scary if we do stifle innovation, and I hope that this is a pattern that we can shake and get out of. Okay, next question. Phil, why are you so sexy? Ooh, this has some promise, huh? From Carlos. Next question. DSP, what do you think of women on YouTube who show their tits just to get views? And plus, they don't really even know what they're talking about. And that question is from Trigger Happy. I get the feeling he's alluding to a couple certain people, but there are a lot of women on YouTube who seem to be like that, who just because they're scantily clad and whatever, they can get popularity on YouTube. I'm going to pose a counter question. Why is it that those women get popularity on YouTube? What is it with men that they can't keep their fucking control of their balls and their sexual urges, that whenever they see a fucking pair of tits, they have to run and click and watch the video, and not just in YouTube, but anything. Oh my God, she's a hot girl. I'll do whatever she says. Oh, there are people out there, I'm not even kidding you, there are people out there who pay $10,000 a night to have a girl go around with them as an escort. Are you a fucking idiot? $10,000 to have a pretty girl escort you around? What is wrong with your balls? That's my question. How did your life become so driven by your sexual desires that you would do something so stupid? And it's the same thing here. There's plenty of quality content on YouTube. There's plenty of women on YouTube who are intelligent and who have funny stuff to say. And they're not just about showing off their pretty faces and their tits. But there are women who just do that, and they're exploiting men. And it's your fault. Shame on you if you're one of these guys who you're following one of these people who you know when you watch, you're not watching this for the quality. There's nothing really funny here. There's nothing really interesting. The woman has nothing really to say. You're just staring at her tits for the whole video. Well, how about those the fitness videos where the woman's like, and this is how you do this exercise, and all you see are her giant tits in the camera the whole time. I mean, it's a joke. And men really need to stop being controlled by their dicks. That's the bottom line. If they were, those women would never have the popularity they have. They wouldn't be successful just for their looks. And guess what? You'd have better quality stuff all over the internet. But unfortunately, that's not how the world works right now. Too many men are just controlled by their dicks. Okay, so now we're going to head on to the Twitter questions. And I'm glad that I saved so much time. We got over 10 minutes just to answer Twitter questions this time around. I have several questions here that I think are good ones, and I want to answer them. So the first question is, how do you get around gameplay videos being tagged for copyright infringement on your playthroughs? And that's from The Real The R. Great question. And the answer to this one is, previously it was very hard. Before I was partnered with Machinima, it was extremely difficult with doing what I was doing on YouTube, because YouTube's copyright infringement system is basically a flag-based system where it'll try to automatically match the content of a video you put up to something that they know is owned by someone. So when I'm playing Assassin's Creed, it might automatically flag it and match it to EA and say, well, we know that Assassin's Creed is an EA game, so your video is flagged. And all that would mean is that it might put an ad on the video that wasn't mine, so I wasn't getting paid for it. This was before I was ever getting paid for anything I did on YouTube. In some cases, it would actually block the video and say, unless you can dispute this claim and say that this is not someone else's copyrighted content, we're going to basically block your video from being viewed. And I would have to submit a dispute claim and say, no, this is a transformative work, this is a video game playthrough, it's covered under fair use, this is ridiculous, and then it would be reversed. So that previously was a lot of work to have to do that kind of stuff. Now, I have to admit, since I've worked with Machinima and been a Machinima partner, it seems like Machinima partners, for the most part, are protected. Meaning, you're not going to get automatically flagged by YouTube's bullshit content system saying that you're doing, stealing something copyrighted. Now, this doesn't make me immune to, people trying to submit copyright strikes, false copyright strikes and such. I've actually heard of some Machinima partners getting in trouble for false copyright strikes. The good news is Machinima cleared them up. But it seems like since I've been under Machinima's umbrella, I have a lot more clout. Let's put it that way. I have a lot more benefit of the doubt. YouTube will give me the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, Phil's not really infringing copyright. This is bullshit. Next question. Phil, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? And that's from Scott McQueen. You might be surprised with my answer on this one because a lot of people say, oh, it's the turkey, or man, I really love the potatoes or whatever that my parents make, or, for me, it's the stuffing. I love the stuffing. My mom makes homemade stuffing. She actually, and some people might think this is really gross, she uses all the guts of the turkey. Like when you buy a turkey, you get the guts inside. She uses the guts to make the stuffing, and it's fucking delicious. I love it. I'm probably going to have a double to triple helping of it today. Today is Thanksgiving for me. When I head over to my parents' house, that's the thing I like to attack the most. So yeah, I eat some turkey, I have everything else, but that stuffing, I love the stuffing. I don't know, I'm just a sucker for it. Put some gravy on top. Oh, delicious. Next question. Would you consider playing with the fans on Christmas? That is from Truth of Gaming. And not on Christmas, probably not. Then again, I don't know. On Christmas, sometimes I spend the day with my parents. It depends. Like, for example, last year, I spent Christmas Eve with my parents. And some years I do and some years I don't. It all depends. No, actually, I take it back. Last year, on Christmas Eve, we went out to dinner. On Christmas Day, we visited some of my family, like my aunts and uncles. So we may do that this year. I don't know what I'm doing. But what I can tell you is there will be a Christmas special. And it will be a variety of stuff like I usually do. So that will be coming up. Okay. Next question. Why do you not do more things with other YouTubers like The Creatures, Ask at Kutra, at UberHaxerNova, at Sly Foxhound, etc.? And that's from the Larry Nix. Very quick, very honest answer. As I said before, I just don't have time to watch other people's videos. Out of all the people you just mentioned to me, I've heard of UberHaxerNova. I don't know anyone else you even mentioned. I don't collaborate with these people. I don't talk to them. So unless they would come to me and say, hey Phil, we'd like to do a crossover, YouTube series, I don't know anything about these people. And to be honest, I have friends like John Rambo and others who could play games with me anyway, so I don't need to collaborate with other people on YouTube to do it. I've never done anything like that. Like I said, I've always relied on my own quality of video, to succeed and become popular. I'm a homegrown. I'm not, click on the like, click on favorite. This is a contest to like and favorite the video, and then I'm abused the YouTube system to try to get my video on the front page. I'm doing crossover collaborations with 100 people to try to get their fan base to come to mine. I'm not about that. If you like my style of video, you're my fan, you watch my videos. I don't need to use a gimmick to try to swipe other people, and I'm happy with my fan base as it is. Alright, next question. PETA, who is actually the animal rights organization, said that Super Mario 3D sends the message that wearing fur is okay because Mario wears the Tanuki suit. That's from the Slinky Bitch. PETA, I'm speaking directly to you right now. If you really think that Mario wearing a Tanuki suit promotes people wearing fur, you need to get another job, okay? Stop working for PETA. You've lost your direction. You've lost the way. You've lost what the real meaning of animal rights is, and you need to fucking go do something else. Because there are animals out there right now. There are families that get 3, 4 dogs, 100 cats. They don't take care of them. They don't understand it's going to be a big responsibility. They abuse these animals, and these animals die or otherwise get abandoned. I see them all the time. Stray dogs, stray cats all over the place here in Connecticut. Why isn't PETA focusing on that? Why do you fucking care about Super Mario wearing a Tanuki suit? There are real issues you can tackle that you can have a positive effect, and you're wasting your time on bullshit. Fuck you. Shame on you. Shut the fuck up. Okay. Next question. Phil, can you simulate all the WrestleMania matches using WWE 12 a week before WrestleMania this next year and make videos of it? You know what? And that's from Jake 2012 RHS. I think that's a great idea. That's a fun idea, and that could be like the road to WrestleMania week. I could simulate one match a day of what's going on in WrestleMania. What I could say is, if people could remind me to do that, because obviously so many things will be happening between now and WrestleMania in 2012, if people can remind me to do that, I will make an effort to do that. How about that? Next question, we're getting down to the last couple questions. This one is from Sir Frizzy, and his answer is, what do you think of the gem system that Street Fighter Cross Tekken is going to have? Now, for those of you who don't know what this is, I'm running out of time, but I'm going to very briefly describe it. Street Fighter Cross Tekken is going to have a system where you can get collectible gems, whether it's because you pre-ordered the game, whether you buy them over, say, Xbox Live as a DLC, whether you buy a fucking special Mountain Dew and it has a code on it to get gems. There's supposed to be like hundreds of gems that you can get for this game. And normally you would say, well, they're just gems, it's probably collectible, it doesn't affect the gameplay at all, who cares? They will affect the gameplay. Apparently they're supposed to give your character status buffs and things, so that if there's a certain character that has a hard time, so let's say that Hugo has a hard time fighting Dalzim, because he's a slower character and Dalzim has stretchy limbs and he can zone him, it's supposed to give Hugo like a better matchup. What do I think about this? It's a shameless cash-in that Capcom's trying to do to make more money. They not only want you to buy the game, but now they want you to buy different versions of the game. They want you to buy DLCs. They want you to go cash in with other merch that they're going to probably make a cut off of. And it's going to completely dilute the competitive game, and it's going to fuck it up for a tournament-worthy game. And everyone in the competitive Street Fighter community is hoping, and has their fingers crossed, that Capcom will wise up and make a game mode where either only a certain set of gems are allowed, or the gems are just completely banned and you don't use them in tournament play. The problem is, Ono, who again, the fucking troll of Capcom, who thinks that he's like the savior of Capcom, and apparently the gaming media think he's the savior of Capcom too, just because he spearheaded Street Fighter 4, has said, oh no, the gems are very important to the gameplay, we don't even want to put a mode in the game without the gems because that's how important they are. He's a fucking asshole, okay? He doesn't understand competitive Street Fighter. He never has. This is why they have people like Seth Killian being a special advisor to the Street Fighter community, because Capcom has their heads up their fucking asses when it comes to anything being tournament worthy. So, again, fingers crossed that these guys wise up, and for tournament play, gems are disabled, or there's a mode that just has certain gems, and so everyone has an equal playing field. If not, if the game ends up having everyone has different gems, and it's like fucking playing Magic where everyone has a different deck, it's over. Competitive Street Fighter is over, meaning that game will never be dead, will never be played in a tournament setting. That's a fair setting anyway, because anyone who has more money will have the best set. And then, you know, it's just going to kill the tournament scene. And I don't know why Capcom's doing it, besides, you know, money grubbing. Again, can we make an extra buck? And I don't know, I'm very disgusted at the whole situation. I think Ono should be fucking fired, to be completely honest. I think he's a huge detriment to the competitive Street Fighter community. Okay, last question for the special Thanksgiving edition of Ask the King. This one actually is from Venomous Fat Man, who interviewed me earlier in the year. He's a good fan, he's a follower, he's also a very, you know, he's a cool guy. He does a lot of things for the gaming community and also for the anime community. Check him out on the website realotakugamer.com. I believe he's the community manager for that website. But anyway, I should give him a plug because he's a good guy. His question, this is the last question for this episode. What was your absolute worst experience while competing in the fighting game tournament scene? This one's an easy one. This is a very easy one. It was, and I'm going to just be very general here. When I first jumped into the competitive tournament scene, I found out that there was a lot of corruption. And when I say that, I mean there are tournaments. Now, I can't speak for today, because today I've been out of the scene and I don't really follow it. I'm not in the behind-the-scenes stuff anymore. But I can tell you, back probably around the year 2000, I went to the West Coast to be in a tournament, and it was supposed to be like a large-scale tournament. This was before there was EVO and there was Nationals. This was just a large-scale tournament on the West Coast. And I can tell you for sure, I know that brackets were rigged so that West Coast players did better in the tournaments. West Coast players were allowed to play on working cabinets. Back then, keep in mind, there weren't console versions of all these games, so we were playing on arcade cabinets. They were allowed to play on cabinets that they knew worked better than other ones. Some other ones had flaky buttons, flaky joysticks. One cabinet had no fucking sound. They didn't care. West Coast players got to play on the best. Everyone else that was there played on whatever, and if you lost because the control didn't work, fuck you. That was the mentality. And at the end of the tournament, even the tournament payouts were fucked. Meaning, never was it ever said that the arcade that this tournament was at was going to get a cut of the money, of the winnings. Then, when people got paid out, the winner said, wait a minute, this is like, you said that there were 200 entrants, it's $10 entry fee, I'm supposed to get 70%, I just did the math, this is like hundreds of dollars short. Like, what is going on here? To which the reply was, oh, well, the arcade takes a cut. And then there was a huge uproar. No, you never said the arcade takes a cut. You can't pull that now. That's totally dirty and underhanded. And eventually they ended up, oh, my time's about to run out. Eventually they ended up giving out a little bit more money to the people who had won in the tournament or placed in the tournament, but it still wasn't the right amount. And then later on, they actually tried to change their website to say after the fact that it always said that there was a cut that the arcade should have taken, to which people said, no, we archived your fucking website before you changed it. It didn't say that. You changed it after the fact. You guys are underhanded, and you guys are basically crooked in what you're doing. And there was a big uproar. I was one of the people who spoke up. I was told, I'm going to tell you right now, by two people who are pretty much spearheads of the community right now, the competitive fighting community, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm an asshole. I'm just some kid. How dare you say that they're wrong? Of course, later on, it was proven that this was all true, and never did I get an apology. I was actually banned from Shoryuken.com for a time because of this. I did get unbanned, but never got an apology, and to this day, this was kind of like the beginning of where some of the mainstream people in charge of the fighting community didn't like me. This was like the first overstep that I did. And then over the years, it just got worse and worse and progressively worse with the things, me being outspoken about stuff that was going on in the community, and they didn't want to hear it. So that's pretty messed up, underhanded. Rigged brackets, people who you want to win in the tournament because you're favored and you're using favoritism to run your tournament, get to play on the better controls, and then you cheat people out of money at the end of the tournament. And I hate to say it, to end this episode of Ask the King, but those people are still in charge of the fighting community, and they're involved with EVO. Not saying that they're doing it at this point. In fact, EVO has grown to the point where I don't think they could get away with doing anything crazy like that. And because it's console, everyone has their own joystick. I really don't think there's favoritism in brackets or anything like that anymore. But those people who did those things are now in charge of the fighting community in the United States. So let's just think about that for a second. And now, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. This has been a long episode of Ask the King, I know. I will try to do one again, like I said, at the end of December. And I hope everyone does have a happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe, eat a lot of food. My recommendation, fuck Black Friday, stay home, play games, have fun. Don't worry about going out and trying to risk your health to try to get a stupid deal. And yeah, the last thing, I'm going to remind you what I said at the very beginning. I'm saying again, on Saturday I'll be putting out a special video because I'll be at a video game tournament, a fighting game tournament, which I'll tell you about on Saturday, how to find me and how to follow the stream or whatever. But this video will be about the Stop Online Piracy Act, the Protect IP Act, how wrong these acts are, and how you can again speak up and help these bills not get passed. Next week is when they're going to be spoken about again in the government. This week, actually, they had off for Thanksgiving. Next week, they're re-adjourning. We need to get these bills shut down, and I'll tell you what you can do, okay? So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys for gameplay in the near future. Thanks.